Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you can hear me, and we have the crowd kicking off at the moment. It's a bit of a different start to the live stream tonight because I think this is going to be a little bit more like Wings of Pegasus FM, because fortunately my lip has decreased in size, very much looking like Mick Jagger today, but my lip has decreased in size so that I can talk. Earlier, I couldn't even say my name, so now I can say Phil. Earlier, because my top lip was so big, I had to do a lip trill, which it always came out as Phil. But we are okay at the moment, so tonight, this live stream is going to be like a little bit more of a show, a radio show. I should have something on screen that's like, showing you the audio waves so that it's at least something to look at. But anyway, that was, hang on. Yeah, if I get rid of that, people will start cheering again. So let me stop that. So at the moment we have just the purple screen on screen, but what I'm going to be planning on doing tonight is, first of all, getting you guys on screen, because I should be able to get everything that we have on screen. Normally we have the live chat room, so I can see you guys in there: Anna, Jennifer, Maria, Marta, Selena, Alison, Get Some, Jay, Pamela, Robert, Sam, Bonnie, Bev. Hello guys, thank you for joining me tonight, and I'm going to get the names of my patrons up on screen as well, hopefully, and I'm just going to reset that order so that it goes across the screen as it should. Third time lucky, and hopefully it will start with sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons, but they make this all possible in the first place. And I'm assuming that you can hear my voice. I think that the audio is actually paired with the video sometimes, so it seems to be going across the airwaves, which is great, across the internet. We're going to be having a look at a couple of videos tonight, but I'm going to be running everything as we normally do. There's no pick roulette tonight, but we will be aiming for a likes goal as we normally do. And that is set at 300 tonight. So 300 is the target. And I'm pretty sure that I've set up everything as it should be, but maybe I haven't, because let me see if I can find the likeometer, and where is it? Okay, it's over here. Let's see if we can get that up on screen. Yes, it has appeared. We are at 156 likes already. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. If you can hit that thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be much appreciated. And actually, I might be able to show a picture of me just before we went live, but of course, modeling the Wings of Pegasus mask. And let me see if I can get rid of the background so that you guys can see it. And there we have it. So that's what I look like at the moment, but I don't have the mask on because obviously talking through the mask is a bit of a pain. And I think for tonight's live stream, I'm going to be in the live chat room while we have a look at one of the interviews with Steve Stevens. We're going to be playing through that, and I will be addressing anything that happens. I always say that if there is a donation, you guys don't have to donate. Just joining me live is great. Hitting the thumbs up, spiking those likes, and seeing where we end up in relation to the goal that we're aiming for, which is 300. But I always say you don't have to donate, but just in case you can't resist, we're going to have the donations tab up there as we normally do. So if any donations do come through, I'm probably going to stop the video that we're looking at because we're all going to be watching this. I'll be in the live chat room with you guys. We'll watch through the interview and maybe even jump into an analysis video afterwards. And I think maybe we'll have a look at a Dolly Parton analysis video because everybody loves Dolly Parton, and I think it would be just a good thing to have up on screen rather than just looking at that background picture. But yeah, if anything happens, and I know that there have been already a couple of donations from Orlando in the super chat window, so thank you for those, Orlando. If anything happens, I will interrupt the video and jump in with those donations, but as I said, you don't have to donate. Just joining me is fantastic. So let's get the background back up on screen. And oh, by the way, to mention about the Wings of Pegasus mask and the Wings of Pegasus merchandise. If you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, just check out the tray underneath this video, or click on the link in the description below, which is spring.com. It should take you straight through, and it will take you straight through to the merchandise that you can find on there, the hoodies, the t-shirts, the caps, all of that kind of stuff, the masks as I'm modeling there. So let's get this background back up on screen, and I'm going to see if I can get the screen grab. There we go. So that's just, it looks like we're almost on fire, myself and Steve there. But that is the video that we're going to be jumping into. And just before we do, I'm going to address the donations that came in before we went live. So thank you guys for these. And I mentioned the two from Orlando, but Paul did donate before Orlando with a $2 donation. Thank you for that, Paul. And the message was, Orlando's sidekick says, spike the likes, all y'all. So thank you for that, Paul. And yes, great idea. If you can hit that thumbs up, it would be much appreciated. And we'll see where we end up by the end of the evening. But we have that donation that came through from Orlando for $2 saying hello everyone and spike the likes. So thank you for that, Orlando. And then Orlando donated after Orlando again himself with a second donation, and it was for $5. So thank you for that, Orlando, again. And the message is, I am at Newark Liberty International Airport awaiting a flight to Milwaukee. I don't even know if I've said that correctly, but the message continues, I will need to cut out early. Rock. So thank you for that, Orlando. And Get Some Jay has just donated $5 as well and says, thank you for all you have taught me with your vids. I still play like a one-armed monkey, just not as much. So thank you for that, Get Some Jay. So there were actually some donations over on PayPal as well. So let me just quickly get through those. At 21 minutes past 10 on Thursday, and this was Thursday morning, we had a donation from Amy. So thank you for that, Amy. And that was for £5. And let me just scroll up, make sure I haven't missed any out. Nicole donated £12.30 at 39 minutes past 7 on Saturday morning. So very early this morning. Thank you for that, Nicole. And the message was, hi, Phil. It's okay for the live stream tonight. Best wishes and nice time for you. Lots of sweets of me. So thank you for that, Nicole. And I'm just going to make sure that everything is showing up as it should on my screen so that you guys can see it on your screen for when we have these donations, because I will be showing them when they get a little bit more up to date. Lauren has donated £25. So thank you for that, Lauren. And Lauren says, spike the likes. Let me see if I can get this on screen for you guys to see as well. And there it is. The donations window has just popped up. So there's Lauren's donation. So thank you for that, Lauren. And I'm just going to scroll up because Tammy donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. And just scrolling down, and it's just some pictures there. So thank you, Tammy. And scrolling up, Maria donated £1.69. So thank you for that, Maria. And just scrolling down, the message is, hi, Phil. Hope your lip feels better soon. Spike the likes, everyone. So thank you for that, Maria. And yeah, the thing about my lip is it's not really my lip. It's just everything going on underneath my lip. And it's just my skin condition that I've had since the age of 13, which is just moderate to severe acne. And I can't remember what it's called, but there's a particular type of acne that I get that is like a lump that's really deep under the skin. So it means that unfortunately it's just kind of buried there, and it doesn't really ever come to the surface. So it means all the inflammation, all of the swelling that happens with a spot normally on the surface of the skin is going on underneath the skin. And it just so happens that my body's favorite position to do this is around my lips, and especially my top lip at the moment. So it just swells my lip because I might have, I think at the last count was 15 of these, I can't remember what they're called, and it's not like a cyst, it's something else. It's a type of acne that exists. But anyway, yeah, at the last count there were about 15 that I had, and that's been over the period of a week. But every one of these is like a lump underneath the skin, and yeah, they're really sensitive as well. So I think on the past live streams, I've probably not done it any good by talking for an hour continuously or just over, because of course my mouth is moving quite a lot and I should be just letting it rest as much as possible. But that's why on tonight's live stream, we are going to be jumping into looking at this interview, and it's going to give my mouth a little bit of a rest, and I'm sure some people are happy about that for most of this live stream. But thank you for that, Maria, for that donation. And yes, this is the thing, that I'm just going to have to wait it out and just wait for, the inflammation and everything, just for I know that everybody gets spots, but this is a very particular type that is very annoying, but you just got to let it run its course, and then hopefully within a few days it'll be fine, because I am due to be meeting up with Steve in a few days, because he's with Billy Idol, of course, here on Wednesday night at Wembley Arena. So we are going to be jumping into the interview that I had with Steve. And I think there was another donation somewhere that I remember, and I don't know where this was. Actually, it might have happened before we went live, and it was from Jennifer. And let me just have a look. I think Jennifer asked, and this might have been in the flip over between when we weren't live and then when we were live. So I think Jennifer asked whether there's somebody that I've met in the past who lived up to my expectations, and if somebody disappointed me or something like that. But I would say that, pretty much the people that I've spoken to in the past on the channel, like Buck Dharma and Frank Marino, and Steve is a great example of that. Just people that are, guitarists that you listen to, and you like them as guitarists and artists and just musicians, but then you talk to them and they're really down to earth and just really nice guys. And that's exactly the case with Steve. So what we're going to be doing is jumping into this interview, and I'll let it roll. I'll let the film roll, and I will be in the live chat room with you guys while this is going on. And thank you, Orlando, for that donation of $2, saying you pronounced Milwaukee perfectly with a thumbs up. So that's good, and I'll just keep on saying it like that. Hopefully I said it how I just said it and I haven't changed it and it's still correct, because I'm not sure. But anyway, let's jump into this video, and I'm going to jump into the live chat room with you guys, and I'll say hi to you in a second. It's consciously sometimes taking out is as important as putting in.
Sure. Absolutely. The only thing I'll mention gear-wise with that was that it was a Charvel guitar that I had a Floyd Rose on it, and it was really important that the notes sustained. I was using a Marshall Plexi, and anyone that knows those amps, they're not super high gain. They're beautiful tone machines, but not super high gain. So I put in a one of those Boss sustainer pedals, a compressor, Boss compressor. And so this would have been 1986, so it's probably one of the little blue guys. So that I didn't want to add distortion because I like the tone of the amp, but I didn't want sustain on it, so that helped. Especially anytime you're really dependent on just playing a melody, you want those notes to sustain. So basically, it's in C. So as I mentioned, I played it really simply for the opening. Add a little bit, and then at the end of the whole phrase, then I added a little bit of wiggle to it. And then, as I played down after it, I think I altered the melody to go against the track. I didn't want to do that at the beginning, but kept it really straight to go with the strings. right? So I knew a way to end it is really triumphant, and take it down an octave. And I remember Harold saying, "Oh, that's like Wagner or something," because it's really like very, and then it's really a definitive statement. You're ending on a,
Yeah, it's like your full stop or period, as you say over in the USA.
Yeah, you're putting an exclamation point on it.
Yeah.
And then I remember at the end, we, so maybe. I think there might have been a higher octave added, maybe as an overdub to support, as we're building, because we're constantly, as the track is going down, we're building this thing. So, and what was strange to me is that the chord transformation went from C. I think it went, which for me was very strange. And I remember even thinking, Harold, that's, very strange interval. But he's such a trained classical musician that in the end, although when you look at it on paper, the relationship between the two key changes is certainly not what we would do in rock and roll, but in the context of the film, it really builds tension. It really works.
But even when you're playing there, just the tiny details of a little slide in to what you're playing, starting straight, then sliding in, and little slide up, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Those are the tiny details that obviously somebody listening to it that doesn't play guitar won't appreciate. The sprinkling of other technique that's thrown in there to make it interesting. But I mean, that solo is a great example of everything that you said earlier about just dotting things in, and kind of later on in the solo when you've got and you're kind of getting into the tapping again, it's just taking a totally different tool out of that toolbox.
Yeah, for the solo, I think. I mean, those go. That's right in C major, and then there's the 5 against 4. And once again, now here's the funny thing, is the Steve Howe influence. Okay, and one of the things I loved about them was in Heart of the Sunrise. Right? So he's just doing the octaves, and I always thought that's such a cool way, no matter what the notes are, to build a solo. So I apply that in a lot of things. It's basically that same idea. I think I varied the rhythm. A little bit there, and then basically it's just it's a C major shape. Those are all, and once again, those are things that I probably had in my back pocket at the time, and thought, I can, I wasn't having to oh hell, what am I going to do now? I already had these little phrases, and I rearranged the phrases depending on what the solo is or whatever. Similar thing in Rebel Yell. So same idea, 3 octaves, play the same pattern. You're giving people something they can really relate to, they can remember. Billy always called that the cavalry. He says it reminds him of like being on a horse. And then I just take it up an octave, take it up another octave. Okay, I've established that. Now I'm on to the next pattern, or whatever that's going to be. So that's a cool thing. If for guitar players, if you've got a cool little pattern that you do, throw it into different octaves. Throw it, vary it, however, because it's memorable. I think octaves are often overlooked. Close to the edge. It's just octaves. It's so stupid. But what's happening against it musically, Chris Squire's moving bass against that creates this tension. Jimmy Page also did that a lot with octaves and things like that. I think, and it's just, your ear goes, oh, I've heard the first bit of the phrase. Oh, I know this. It's an octave up. Oh, okay, I know this. It's another octave up. I know this, but it's building tension. So it's a cool, valuable tool, I think.
Yeah, and using octaves just in general. If you've, say for example, you're there, and you've got your, you can kind of start to pick out little hooks and melodies that you've no longer got that restriction of having to reference your chord all the time. Even kind of.
Right, exactly. And you
can start to kind of dig around with that rhythm a bit. So, I mean, like you've said, octaves I think are definitely underappreciated, and you will find a lot of bands. I mean, Green Day, for example, one of those bands that use that really well.
Absolutely.
They won't have a kind of solo in there that's really technical, but it'll have melody with just an octave. I
think it's, I've been really blessed with working with so many great singers, and one of the things that I noticed is a lot of time, and it's the same concept, a lot of times when they're establishing their first verse, and it doesn't matter who the singer is, from Billy Idol, David Coverdale, they'll sing that first verse at a certain octave, and then the second verse they'll take it up an octave and give it their higher, in Still of the Night. If people listen to that, in the Still of the Night, Wolf out, and then later on he's singing it up an octave, and he's going for it, and it creates this incredible tension, and it moves the song forward. Guitar players can definitely. Listen to your favorite singers, and just go, what do they do? And just, even if you write it down, you don't have to write down what the notes are or anything. Just go, oh yeah, in the first verse he sang this, and then in the second verse maybe it wasn't an octave, but he sang it a fifth above, or he stressed whatever it was, major or minor, stressed the major or stressed the minor. Take those concepts, apply them to the guitar, and they're really useful. I always tell people, don't get discouraged by mistakes or things that aren't successful, because those mistakes and things that go wrong are what you learn to not do the next time. So you eliminate those mistakes, and you without those mistakes, you'd constantly be doing the wrong thing. So those are really important. Hitting wrong notes are just as important than hitting the perfect note.
I sometimes say to people that might be in bands, might be performing live, that the more you play live, obviously, the better, but probably for the reason that when I started playing in venues, you realise that it's totally different to your rehearsal room, where it's a controlled environment. When you go and play live, something can happen that will, if you're not ready for it or you're not well versed in playing live, it will throw you off. I'm just going to jump in here, and hopefully you can hear me on Wings of Pegasus FM. But we had a donation that came in from Karen, so thank you for that, Karen. I did say that I would interrupt the interview in order just to jump into these. Karen donated £4.22. Thank you for that. And the message was, "Hi Phil. I hope your lip feels better. I can relate to having skin conditions, e.g. acne, eczema. I'd like to share a Mick Jagger quote. It's all right letting yourself go as long as you get yourself back. Sending healing wishes and cheers, Karen. So thank you for that, Karen. And it's cystic, and that's the word that I was looking for before. It's a type of acne called cystic acne, I do believe. But anyway, let's jump back into the interview. And you might totally forget what you're doing on the guitar or vocally. So playing live, getting out there, don't worry if you make mistakes, because I see playing live for a lot of people as playing live and everything that happens live subconscious in exactly the same way that you practice your techniques, and they become subconscious. So
absolutely,
the more you play, the more random stuff will happen, but all of that just gets logged away, and you don't have to worry about ever getting put off because you've seen everything. So now you can just kind of get on with playing.
And it is another really simple thing, the simple fact that you're standing there with the guitar, as opposed to sitting comfortable in your bedroom, your little studio setup or whatever, and you're comfortable there. Then you get on stage, and stuff is happening, and your singer, might bump you or something, or whatever. It's different. It's much harder to play guitar sitting up than it is sitting down. So it's really good. I always tell guitar players, one of the things I say, stand up when you're home, give it an hour, practice all your stuff, but then put your strap on and play for an hour and do those same things. You'll find it's a lot more difficult. Unless the guitar's up here, which doesn't look that cool.
Yeah, exactly. It's that balance between playability and image. How low can I get the guitar but still play the way that I can play?
Yeah, and you have to you have to gauge where. It's so silly, but how low or how high. I mean, Tom Morello wears his guitar high, and it looks great.
Yeah.
For a lot of rock guys, you don't want it down Jimmy Page. I couldn't play like that, but you kind of have to gauge. You have to kind of go, where am I comfortable? Am I willing to sacrifice a little bit of dexterity to have it a little bit lower? And I find that in the course of a Billy Idol show, 75% of my stuff is rhythm playing. And I'm not great at rhythm when it's too high. It's got to be a little bit lower, where the fulcrum of my chords are ringing and I'm hitting the strings the right way, and that that's you have to find that happy medium, and that's an important. I know it's a very basic thing, but find the spot that you're most comfortable.
Somebody that I mentioned quite a lot on the channel when talking about getting the guitar into a particular position. And Slash is one of those that when he's playing a particular line that he wants a little bit more access to his fretboard, he'll pop the guitar up and have his foot on the fold back, and it looks cool. Yeah. But then you think about, well, technically, if he's stretching, it's like, oh, maybe he needs to do that to get his finger to that point because he's not quite making it. So all these little
it's actually brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant that he's thought that through. Okay, when I want to really have the dexterity and stuff, I'll use the monitor and I'll put it up on my
exactly, because
and it's become a stylistic thing now. It's great.
Yeah, nobody is going to be suspicious of that at all because they think, oh wow, that looks cool. And it's got that double function of actually being
that's right.
Easy to stretch. So it's a cool thing to look out for. Some of the Top Gun, not to kind of go back too much, but some of that, when you're doing the kind of and you've got kind of dive bombs in there and kind of the those kind of things that are those spontaneous, almost Van Halen-esque throwaway bits of technique that have so much expression in there, but are so cool. And even just that of kind of deciding on that third bend to throw that pinched harmonic in there,
right?
Something that, going back to making your technique subconscious, when you feel it, you can then produce it in that split second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not known for pinch harmonics much, but in the case of that one, I think I was just digging in, you know, and it's just like you're building the intensity, and if you dig in with your pick and you're building intensity.
And just to jump in here quickly, we've had a donation that came in from Orlando that was for $2. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message was, I hate to say goodbye. We'll catch up later. Bye. So Orlando's out of the house, but thank you for joining us, Orlando, in that live chat room. And you guys, if you're watching this in the future on catch up, you can still hit that thumbs up, spike those likes. At the moment, we are at 252 by the looks of it. We're aiming for 300. So if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be much appreciated. And vote for the cover that you want to see tonight as well. It's between Lay It on the Line and The Boys Are Back in Town. So have your vote, and we'll jump into that soon. But let's get back to Steve Stevens.
The harmonic is going to come out, the pinch thing or something. So there's certainly no pinch harmonics on Billy Idol stuff. Yeah. It's just not a technique that we utilized. You know, we were really like, you know, I was very cognizant of having the rhythms keep an element of punk rock in them. You know, especially living in New York, and you know, a lot of the kind of early punk rock guitar players, like maybe Johnny Thunders or the Ramones or things like that, those kind of like aggressive, and obviously the Sex Pistols, you know, I was aware that I had to honor that element of Billy Idol because, you know, he was in a punk rock band, had done 3 records with them, and I had to marry that part of his career to him moving to America and bringing in more rock and roll elements as well. So it was and at times it didn't always work. There's a lot of things that ended up, you know, on the cutting room floor or whatever that we just went, nah, it's just not Billy Idol. You know, it doesn't sound right for Billy Idol. But once you'd hear his vocal, I took my cues mostly from his vocal. If it sounded right against his voice, I went, that's, you know, how can you deny that? Many times I came up with the most incredible guitar part, and against the vocal, it's you know, it's just too much. It was just like, oh, it was heartbreaking. But you know, hey, the bottom line is it doesn't work. So, you know, our producer Keith Forsey would always say, I'd come up with something that would be really cool or whatever, and it didn't work. He'd go, well, save it for your own record. You know? Yeah. Okay, you know.
It's that very important point of complementing the overall sound rather than competing with, because those two things are going to sound totally different, and having that overall appreciation of the sound of the whole band, but the sound of the song, like playing something that's going to complement the song rather than, you know, oh, this is my chance just to show off this thing that I've kind of just learned to do, which like you say, is very difficult sometimes.
Here's an important thing for guitar players, and this is certainly something I learned from listening to Led Zeppelin was, and Rebel Yell is a great example of that. It's basically four chords, so it's B minor, right, and the chorus is the same chord structure as the verse. So the bass is playing B to A to G, E, with passing. Now, as a guitar player, if I would have just gone, and a lot of guitar players do that. They listen to what the bass is doing and they follow those chords. But what I realized is to expand upon it, and thank you, Jimmy Page, I played an independent part. So, okay, there I'm playing the B. And then here, so I wanted to keep F sharp as the highest note in every chord. So, right? So which is D major, and then which is G major 7th, and then I join the bass here. So I'm not playing the notes, the roots of the bass, so it's So the whole thing becomes much larger. You're expanding. Let the bass state the root note. Okay, he's got that covered. There's a bit of a keyboard pad. They're going to cover that. Now I'm free to do this stagnant, what I say is the soprano note. Creates such good tension because it's so much more interesting to me to constantly. It's like a chime. It's like the church bell in there. That's what I was kind of going for. So it's I stress to guitar players, find something. Forget about what the bass player is doing. Don't worry about it. He's going to cover. If he's doing his job, he's going to cover the chord changes. You don't have to be so worried about that. You can come up with chords and things, and I think obviously all the greats do that. They come up with these guitar parts that are independent rhythmatically, harmonically, and they stand on their own, but it widens the music.
That rhythm part, especially in that verse, you've got Billy's voice is musically sitting between bass and guitar, and especially when he's in that lower octave before he then he gets up into that chorus. So you're maximizing all the frequency you can to get a nice full sound, but independently rather than if you're just hitting those root notes. The other thing is the pulsing rhythm that you're placing with all of those downstrokes. It's just you're not just going straight forward the whole time. It's getting that to pop.
We were definitely, when it came to those stagnant, stabby guitar rhythm parts, we were influenced by Suicide, and there's a song called Ghost Rider. People want to go, I'm sure it's on YouTube, Suicide, YouTube. Alan Vega was a singer, and he was also a baritone. And we go, man, Marty Rev, keyboard player's doing this, da, 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 these kind of stagnant things against these, and the bass would move against it, and he kind of, and keyboard players would do that, Ray Manzarek in the Doors, Keith Emerson, they'd have these suspense parts against moving bass thing. And I kind of, it was a very mindful application of it to put it in the second verse of White Wedding. Like, it wasn't a big featured thing, but it became, when it came time to do the follow-up record, I based a lot of my guitar parts on that style. I went, we both went, kind of a light bulb went off. Well, that's a cool thing. That's part of the Billy Idol sound, Didn't sound like anything else. It was unique to us. So a lot of what I did ended up being that way. I still apply that concept to what I do.
Thank you so much for your time today, Steve. It is massively appreciated. And
I think, and I love your channel. I think what you do is, it's never about your ego, because you want to share your love of the instrument with other people, and it's obvious that you're a teacher. So without some of the guitar teachers that I had, I had a great flamenco teacher, and then my main guitar teacher, and that really comes through, that your love of the instrument is something you want to share, and that's something I try and do as well. Is there's no secrets here. It's all, hey, take this and use it, because it's cool and it's fun to discover stuff.
So another huge thank you to Steve for joining me on the channel tonight. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock! And there we have it. So that was the interview with Steve, and I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I can see that the vote for tonight's cover video is really close. Lay it on the line. Has 50% of the, and it just changed to The Boys Are Back in Town. So it's 50 point something, 50.1 to The Boys Are Back in Town at the moment. So have your final vote for tonight's cover, because we will be listening to that, but we are looking for 14 more likes in order to hit the likes goal for tonight. In the top right hand corner of your screen, it is 300, and we're currently, or we were, on 286. Now we're on 289, so we're looking for 11 more people. So we are at 46 minutes past midnight here in the UK, and we did have another donation, by the way. Let me just mention that it was Trina who donated $4.99. Thank you for that. And there's a picture of a hippo with wheels as legs, I do believe, unless you're just, running really fast. But thank you for that, Trina. Now, maybe we're going to jump into... I'm going to stop the vote, so I'm going to end the vote for tonight's cover video, and it looks like Lay It on the Line has just overtaken The Boys Back in Town. So that's definitely the closest one we've ever had, because it changed while I was looking at it, and it's actually changed twice since I was looking at it over that 60 seconds or so. Right, we're going to be jumping into this now, and it's going to be my version of Lay It on the Line. Hopefully it'll show up on screen and it'll all be fine, and I will join you guys again after this, where we might get into an analysis video if we can squeeze it in, because I'm not sure how long the analysis video that I'm going to be looking at is going to be lasting for. But I hope you guys enjoy this, my version of Lay It on the Line. Rock! And there we have it. That was my version of Lay It on the Line. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And you can see me back up on screen, modelling my Wings of Pegasus mask. I should just pretend that I'm actually talking, but I'm managing to stay very still. But yes, tonight I'm trying to limit more than anything the amount that I'm talking because of my swollen lip that I've got, and I think talking for an hour or longer doesn't do much good for it, and it kind of aggravates the swelling and all that kind of stuff. But because we've been spending a lot less time talking tonight, that was just my plan. But let me get the background up on screen again, and there's another donation that came in from Jennifer for $5. So thank you for that, Jennifer. And the message was, Phil, a guitar picker, wants to know what the opening chord you were playing on Lay It on the Line and what key are you playing it in? Good question. I can't remember because, as guitarists always say, use it or lose it. I can't remember. I think I transpose the key. I don't know what to. I've done so many covers. I tend to just learn the song and do it in those, that week or two that I'm recording it, and then just move on to the next song. So I would have to go back, watch the video and listen to it again. But unfortunately on the software, I can't just play the beginning of the video without us having to watch the whole video again. So yeah, that's something that, it shouldn't take that long to work out. If you can maybe wait to the end of this live stream or just go to the cover on YouTube. It should be in the playlist, the covers playlist. So go to that and just watch that first chord and pause it, and you'll be able to see exactly where my fingers are and what the chord is. Just do whatever I'm doing on your guitar and then hit the strings, and it might be detuned. It most likely is detuned. So yeah, it'll be in at least E flat, I think. So yeah, you can go back and check that out. But thank you for that, Jennifer. And Mary has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Mary. And the message is, such a talent and beautiful human being. So thank you for that, Mary, for those kind words. And there has been another donation over on PayPal. So thank you for that, Kim. And let me get this up on screen so you guys can see it as well. And it's a donation for £10, and it is a straight up donation. So thank you for that, Kim. Right, let me see what the time is. At the moment, we are at 54 minutes past midnight here in the UK. So we still got a little bit of time left, but let me have a look at, I did say that we would look at a Dolly Parton analysis video. I'm not sure whether we've got time to do it or not, but maybe, I tell you what we can do. First of all, plug the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook, and you can join in there. Vince hosts the after party after the live streams, and you can upload your pictures there that we can show on these live streams as well. But let me just get this up on screen, because we might actually jump into this in a second, because we might have time to finish this before the end of the live stream. I did say that we would have a look at a Dolly Parton analysis video, because everybody loves Dolly Parton. So we will jump into this. And by the way, we have hit the target for tonight's Pick Roulette Likes goal. So if you're looking in that live chat room, if you want to get your name on next week's Pick Roulette wheel, you need to tag Carla Murray, and you just type at Carla Murray like that. And let me make sure that I actually do it correctly. So yes, you have to tag Carla like this, and then type I agree with some exclamation marks, which are optional. So I'm going to put that into the live chat room, so you guys who are in there, you can see how to do it. Copy what I've just done in there. Get your entries in for next week while we jump into this analysis. And I think it was the isolated vocal analysis of Dolly Parton, performing Jolene. So let's have a listen to it. So let's jump into it.
I want to do a song for you now that a lot of people have been asking for ever since I started doing the Dolly show. They asked me why I didn't sing the song about Jolene. Now, this is a true story for those of you that don't know. I wrote this song about 20 years ago about this woman down in Nashville that worked at the bank. She was trying to take care of my husband while I was out on the road. Well, that didn't go over too big with me. I fought that red-headed woman like a wildcat. She jerked my wig off and almost beat me to death with it. But I kept my husband. I got that sucker home and I beat the tar out of him. We got a whole bunch of red-headed women down here. As a matter of fact, Jolene looked a whole lot like you red-headed hussy. Oh, so here we go with the pitiful story of Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain. Well, I cannot compete with you, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. Oh, but I can easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what he means to me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Now you could have your choice of men, but I could never love again, 'cause he's the only one for me, Jolene. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you, and whatever you decide you'll do, Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 Jolene. Please don't take him just because you can. Jolene. Jolene. Well, it's just not fair, Jolene.
And there we have it. So, when we're listening to the isolated vocal, you get so much more of a deeper appreciation of what's going on with Dolly's voice. And I know that I've done another video where we're looking at Dolly and she's playing guitar at the same time, but here we get to see all of the subtle things going on thanks to the pitch monitoring software, which you'll see on the right hand side of the screen as well. And what's really important to look at, and the reason that I left in the intro where Dolly is talking, because when she's introducing the song, we can see that when she's talking, she's pretty much in this area, going up even to an F sharp 4. You can see that she's up as far as an A sharp 4, actually just talking without even started singing yet. So when we have a look at when she actually gets into the vocal
with it. But I kept my husband.
I mean, look, there's another A4 almost just while she's relaying the story of the song. So then as we move forward,
Jolene, Jolene.
Just taking these notes as an example, we can see that we've already hit the A4 in her talking voice, and now we're at the A sharp 4, and then we've got the C5. So Dolly has a really, or comparatively high talking voice. So it means that when she gets into singing, she is singing in her talking voice. And this is huge because in the little sections where she puts personality into the vocal. She goes into a talking voice. So let me just take it forward if I can move it here.
He talks about you in his sleep.
So that whole vocal phrase there isn't really singing. She's just saying, he talks about it. She's kind of throwing it in there as a conversational vocal, something that is telling the story of the song. But because she's already singing in her talking range, that's why it's so seamless that she can just break off into talking, because she's talking and singing in the same space, in the same vocal register. And this is something that we've seen with other great singers like Frank Sinatra, Matt Monroe as well, Dean Martin, another one. Old school singers, old time singers who spoke and sang in the same place. So then when they wanted to communicate something about the story of the song, or something that had a little bit more emotion in there, they'll just go into their talking voice seamlessly, but then go back into their singing voice. And when you're singing in a different range to your talking voice, obviously you can't do that, because it starts to sound a bit weird if you're singing really high and then you come down into your talking voice. You would almost have to try and talk in your head voice, which will always sound weird. Because if I went up into my head voice now and went, I'd have to break off and start just speaking like this. And if I started speaking like this, it'd sound a bit weird. It sounded a little bit like Michael Jackson. But actually, that's quite a good representation of what Michael Jackson did when he spoke. He would talk in his head voice, so he wouldn't be using any of his chest. So when I'm talking my chest voice, it means that I'm talking and a lot of the resonance is happening actually in the head, even though it's called chest voice, but you will be able to feel a bit of resonance on your chest when you're singing in chest voice and singing out notes that are quite low in your range, even if you're talking and projecting your voice. The other thing that we've got in Dolly's voice are these really quick changes between notes, and she does have vibrato in her voice, but it's really subtle. It's not wide at all. We'll just listen to a vocal phrase and then we'll break it down as to what's going on.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green.
So there is so much going on there. Let me just take this back, because she starts out again blending this singing voice with the expression, just allowing the note to tail off at the end.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with
compare. That your beauty is beyond compare. There's no note in there. She's just letting that slide down.
With flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green.
And then we've got that really cool eyes, eyes. So she's actually doing a little rundown, and eyes of emerald green, green. And at the end it's really subtle, but if you listen out for it, you'll hear, I'll play the whole thing again, but you'll hear that little tweak at the end. So you've got that eyes of emerald green. So there's lots of notes happening in such a short space of time, but Dolly just nails it.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green.
And that green, it's almost a hum at the end rather than a connected vocal sound going green and leaving all of that open sound in there. She just closes it off and hums it. If we're looking at now the performance, because the voice is just spot on pitch wise, so much communication, so much communicating from her to the audience and to us watching, because look at the way that she engages the camera as well as the audience. I mean, it's just these deeper levels with the great artists that you can go into, because you've got the whole performance. And again, just taking back this one vocal phrase, now look at her body language and the way that she acts out the lyrical content of the song.
Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green.
And keeping that focus on the camera, but all of the movement with the hair and just demonstrating the skin. So we've got multiple levels here of just professional ability, showmanship, entertainment. It's all rolled into one. And when you throw in there that Dolly played guitar as well, can play fingerstyle guitar and sing at the same time, she's just that all-round artist. I've always said on this channel that songwriting is something else that's entirely different to just performing, singing, playing an instrument, and Dolly has that as well. So really the complete artist, but unique. Again, this is just one vocal phrase that we're looking at, but you can just dive into literally 5 to 10 seconds of her voice, and there are just loads of things that you can point out about it. Listen out for the vibrato.
Green.
See that little bit of vibrato there, that green, 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 a little wobble there, green, and then that little throw up. Really cool sound, but just great vocal technique, but it's all so easy to her. It just looks totally natural, subconscious. She's just performing the song, thinking about the song, not thinking about vocal techniques and how to put this across. Because if you're trying to do this thinking about it, then it's not going to sound the same. It won't have the same flow to it. It won't sound easy, because Dolly, this is just her naturally producing this voice, and that's why it sounds so authentic. Just to demonstrate that point, that you can listen to any part of this song, I'm just going to let it go on to the next part of the verse. So this is exactly what follows what we've just been looking at.
Your smile is like a breath of spring. Your voice is soft like summer rain. Well, I cannot compete with you, Jolene.
So again, we're starting with that talking quality in her voice. Then we've got a bit of glissando technique coming in where she slides down. Listen.
Your smile is like a breath of spring.
And there, on spring, and you can see it on the pitch monitor, which is why it's great to have it on screen.
Voice is soft like summer rain.
And again, a little slide down here, and then bang on to the G4. Again, don't let the pitch fly under the radar here as well, because we don't have that wide vibrato that we've had in other singers, so Dolly has got to be really accurate with her vocal, because when you haven't got that safety net of vibrato, you have to hit those notes dead on, otherwise they just sound more dramatically out, because you're not encompassing a lot of pitch with your vibrato. But here we can see just bang on that G4, and we still have a really subtle wobble in the voice, but pretty much we are hitting notes slightly flat here, but it just sounds spot on because this is pitch perfect. But let me just continue on with this.
Well, I cannot compete with you, Jolene.
There we go. And all of this section here is again just talking, but she's talking where she talks and she sings where she talks. This is why it blends so well. And then she gets back into pitch right at the end for the C4, and then has that little raise of the voice up to the D sharp 4. The other thing that we can hear, because we've got the isolated vocal and it's so clear, the way that Dolly in the chorus, she takes the end of the Jolene into the next Jolene, but it's just the last note. So we've got Jolene, 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 jump, Jolene, and she goes up just before starting that next Jolene. So let's have a listen.
Jolene, 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 Jolene. Oh, I'm begging of you, please don't take my man.
So it's just that little slide up there that's really subtle, and you might not be aware of it, but it's just a great little thing to throw in there, to not have just Jolene, 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 Jo, and start on the J. She just slides in previously into the J of the Jolene. So we get this really smooth sound to that vocal delivery, and one word blends into the next, or one name blends into the next in this case, but it's just so much nicer to listen to that blending rather than just having Jolene full stop, Jolene full stop, Jolene full stop. It's just allowing the vocal to flow and the chorus to flow as well. It's a really minor detail, but it makes a huge difference. Just have a quick word about the range as well, because we've already established that Dolly is singing where she speaks, but she does go higher than her speaking voice in this performance because we have an A sharp 4 that we can see on the screen. So it means that we are here, and we do actually go higher than that to the B and then the C5. But we can see that she's right in the middle of that mezzo-soprano range, and as she gets higher, she will have access to the soprano range higher up. So she pretty much sits between these two. But because her talking voice is around this section anyway, then she spends most of her time singing in this mezzo-soprano range. So it's not super high, but it will be high to women that have a lower talking voice. If you are talking a little bit further down, like the D4 and the E4 and the F4, then you're going to need to just stretch that range up higher in order to get these kind of notes. Alternatively, you can do what I always suggest people do and bring the song down in key to where your range is, because then it will sound best for your voice. Dolly Parton really is the all-round artist, being able to play an instrument, sing, write songs, put on a show, great personality as well. So she's just one of those that stands out and is just being herself, and that's the great thing, is the authenticity of her personality that comes out through her songs and her singing. And to have something that's so personal and really hearing her personalities in each of her songs is such a rare thing. And thank you guys for suggesting this video for me to take a look at. Check out my other Dolly Parton analysis videos if you do get a chance, because you can have a look at her guitar playing as well. But as always, keep those suggestions coming in the comments section below. And if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock! And there we have it. There was the Dolly Parton analysis video that I said that we'd look at the beginning of the stream. So it's getting to the point now where we're going to be calling things to a close for tonight's live stream. And I could see, oh, Patricia did a comment in the live chat room that I was just responding to. But for some reason, whenever you put a smiley face on the comment, or at least when I did, it removes everything that I've typed previously. So I was just going to say that it was Steve Stevens from Billy Idol that I was chatting to earlier in tonight's live stream. And we are, I think, pretty much going to be calling it a day here. It's 14 minutes past 1, so we're pretty much bang on time. Usually we finish at 1:15. Oh, I can see that the FTM22 says you didn't plug the mug. So, yes, if you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, I did actually mention it earlier on when I had the Wings of Pegasus mask on. So you guys can check it out. All of the merchandise in the tray underneath this video, or in the, description below, there will be a link to the spring.com store. Also, you can head over to wingsofpegasus.com/merch for all of Carla's merchandise over there, as well as all of my music, which you'll find at wingsofpegasus.com/music. So, thank you guys for joining me tonight on Guff FM. As I can see Sam going through saying, doing Guff FM worked out really well. Hope you feel better soon. So thank you for that, Sam. Oh, and we did have a donation over on PayPal, and that was Rebecca. Let me see if I can get that up on screen. And there it is. It was a donation of £9. So thank you for that, Rebecca. And the message is 9 months tonight since being injured, £1 donation per month to celebrate full recovery from that broken arm. So thank you for that, Rebecca. And I didn't break my arm. Actually, breaking my arm would have been preferred, because generally that takes, maybe a couple of months, a few months to recover. Whereas mine was a tendon problem. I say was, it still is a tendon problem. So I'm not fully over it yet. And it's getting a lot better. It's pretty much there. But, having said that, typically today I did feel it while I was driving. So it's not fully recovered yet. And it's been, I don't know what, 9 months? 9 months, as you say in your comment. So yeah, unfortunately, it's still not right yet, but that's just the thing with tendons. They take absolutely ages. So yeah, the tendon, I don't really mind too much, but yeah, having a swollen lip is a bit of a pain, literally in the face. But thank you for that, Rebecca. We are going to be calling things to a close now. So thank you guys for joining me for tonight's live stream that, yeah, has been a little bit different, but I didn't want to cancel it. I wanted to make sure that we still got to hang out in this live setting, that I could see you guys in the live chat room. And we could get potentially that pick roulette for next week, which we will have. And hopefully everything will be back to normal by next week. And it'll be fine. We're going to be continuing as normal on the channel. Obviously, you guys over on Patreon, I'll keep you in the loop as to what's happening when. But there will probably be another video of some sort coming out tomorrow night, and then we'll be back live Tuesday night, hopefully, fingers crossed, and a little bit more of a normal fashion. And on Wednesday night I am going to be away because, as I said at the beginning of this live stream, I'm going to be meeting with Steve because he's playing at Wembley Arena on Wednesday night. But I'll probably take a picture or two and upload those to Patreon as well. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend, and that your week is good next week as well. As I said, hopefully we'll be back to normal on Tuesday for the live stream. And if you want to get involved on Patreon, it's patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, and that's the site that you need to go over to there, because that's where I spend my evenings. And if you want to message me directly over there, then you can do. But thank you guys for joining me tonight, and we're going to be calling things to a close now. So I will catch you guys at the next one. And by the way, huge shout out to the moderators, which I haven't mentioned yet, but they do such a great job in that live chat room to keep that community feel and just, yeah, keep everything organized, because we've got a lot of subscribers now and a lot more comments in order to deal with. So thank you guys so much for all of your work. Anyway, I'll catch you guys at the next one. Stay safe, stay sane, as I always say, and have a great weekend. Rock!